good day everyone. It's nice to see you all again if it's just in virtual, because we all know that we don't have enough time to meet in face to face. So this day we are going to tackle about human sexuality. So I know that when you heard, all of you heard human sexuality, something is already came up in your mind, because I know that we are all familiar with this. So but to begin it with, let's discuss what is human sexuality. So human sexuality is the way people experience and express themselves sexually. This involves biological, psychological, physical, erotic, emotional, social, spiritual feelings and behaviors, because it is a broad term which has varied with historical context over time. It lacks a precise definition. The biological and physical aspects of sexuality largely concern the human reproductive function, including the human sexual response cycle. So when we say human sexuality, so when we talk about human sexuality, this also involves about how we are being pleasured with the body of our partner or the others. So but that's not just only about the human sexuality, there are more. So now let's proceed. So human sexuality have three components. First, we have major aspects of human sexuality. Second, we have the meaning and purpose of human sexuality. And third, we have the issue of human sexuality. So first, we have the major aspects of human sexuality. So there are 5 aspects of human sexuality. Namely, these are sensuality, intimacy, sexual identity, sexual health and reproduction, and lastly, we have sexualization. So first, when we say sensuality, so of course, what we smell, or yes, what we feel. So sensuality involves our level of awareness, acceptance, and enjoyment of our own others' bodies. So yes, that's just what I am talking about. This is about how we smell, or how we like the smell of others, yes, and how we enjoy it. So for example, smell your favorite perfume, or not just your favorite perfume of the body, but also your favorite scent to the other person or towards your partner. So a warm bath, like maligo ka, lami kay sa feeling, relax kaayo. So or a scent that feels timeless and mysterious. So or also the scent na kanang galibog ka however you like it. Like galibog ka asa man jud ni na scent, kind of scent, but at the same time also you enjoy it. So now, second, we have intimacy. Intimacy is the degree to which we express and have our needs for closure with other persons. So for example, affection, caring about each other is a one thing, but you should also build intimacy by showing that you care. So to show intimacy, of course, when you care someone, you hug them to comfort them. What else? You kiss them or something. Intimacy. Affection, showing affection on how you care them. Like third, we have sexual identity. So sexual identity is how we preserve ourselves as a sexual being. So as a sexual being, of course, we are all a sexual being. So this is the part where you are identifying with what kind of partner you wanted. So either you wanted heterosexual, or a kind of sexuality where if you are female, you like the opposite sex or gender of yours. So if you're a female, you like boy, or male. If you are a male, you like a female. So or you also into a same sex, diba? Like if you're male, then you also like male. If you are female, then you are also a female. This is where you identified what kind of partner you want, or what kind of partner does your body is kanang mas mubagay siya. So, next we have sexual health and reproduction. So, sexual health and reproduction relate to attitude and behaviors towards our health and consequences of sexual activity. So, referring to physical and emotional well-being and including the ability to be free from unwanted pregnancy, unsafe abortion, sexually transmitted infection, including HIV or AIDS, and all forms of sexual violence and abortion. So, yes, sexual health and reproduction. So, in doing sex or being involved into sexual activity, of course, sexual health is very important. And is very important because this matter between your body na, diba? So when you say your body, of course maapektuhan ang imong health, ang imong life. So this already discussed about the consequences na mga mahitabo if you are engaging into a sexual activity without any protection, or something that will make you away or prevent from any unwanted pregnancy, because we all know, diba, some of the unprotected sexual activity comes to the result of unwanted pregnancy, abortion. Then and the worst part is sometimes kanang pataka ra diha og kuan og dili ila galing partner kay magka HIV pa and AIDS. Dili mo, I will not say na gaba or tagam, because we're just a human being. However, just if you already have a partner or you are already a married person, then stick with your partner in order for you or to the both of you to be safe from any other sexually transmitted diseases. So lastly, we have sexualization. Sexualization involves on how we use our sexuality and may include manipulating or controlling others. So for example, excessive touching of their genitals in a public or inappropriate place like locker room, bedroom with friends. Like, gosh, this is behavior where kanaganing sexualization natin. Bisag we are in a public place, kay pataka ra kagikap-hikap sa imong partner in their private parts. So that's it. However, sexualization is, I believe, na makontrol rin na siya because feeling manggod ni siya na to, na feel manggod ni na to. However, if you know how to control it, then we can control it. And then that's all. Let's proceed to the other.
Meaning and purpose of human sexuality. So, sexuality is about your sexual feelings, thoughts, attraction, and behaviors towards other people. So, you can find other people physically, sexually, or emotionally attracted with. And all of these are part of our sexuality. So when we're talking about sexuality, we should always be open-minded, because we all know that sexuality or sex is a deeply personal good siya when we're talking about sexuality. But we should always note that sexuality is important part of who we are. Yeah, and sexuality can influence our well-being and how we connect to others. So sexuality is really important to us. So let's proceed to the purpose of human sexuality. So there are four purpose of human sexuality. Includes um, reproduction. So reproduction, sexuality is a means of biological reproduction. So reproduction is one of the basic purpose of sexuality. It is to enable human to produce and have children. So reproduction is important. For example, in a couple, a couple. So by showing their love for each other, they reproduce and have children. By that, they show their love for each other. So that's why reproduction is one of the purpose of human sexuality. So let's move on to self-representation. So self-representation is sexuality describes how people psychologically or sociologically represent themselves. So these are how we represent ourselves outside. For example, Jimmy. So Jimmy identified as bisexual and feels comfortable expressing this part of their identity. So bisexual. I don't know what is bisexual. So they might choose, or Jimmy might choose to wear a rainbow bracelet, so which is symbol of LGBTQ plus pride. So we all know LGBTQ, they really love showing their how they represent themselves in society. So Jimmy represent himself by wearing a rainbow bracelet. So the rainbow bracelet is a way for Jimmy to represent their identity. Their sexuality to others without having to say anything. Bracelet is a small but powerful form of self-representation, showing the world a bit about who you are and what they stand for. So by that we show the world who we truly are by representing who we are to the society. So that's the self-representation. So let's move to attraction. So attraction. Sexuality orients a person's attraction to other. For example, a man is attracted to tall woman. So this attraction is physically kay na-attract man siya sa taas na bayi. So a tall woman is physically, diba? Attraction can be physically, emotion, attitudes, diba? Some of us attracted to a person na butan, honest, diba? So those are attitudes. Then some are attracted to a person taas, physically good, guwapo, singkit. Yeah, that's physically. Some are emotion. So there are some nga ma-attract sa emotion. For example, a person who is emotional intelligent. Yeah, emotional intelligent. I don't know why, but some said they attracted to a person who is emotional intelligent. We are attracted to different kinds of personality or physical, emotional of others. So that's attraction. So let's move to pleasure. So sexuality shapes the brain and body to seek pleasure. So we all know what is pleasure, diba? So I will not further discuss what is pleasure. we're talking about human sexuality, so we all know what is pleasure. So that's all. That's all my part.
So let's continue. The third one is the issues in human sexuality. So first is premarital sex. So this refers to penetrative sexual intercourse between couples before formal marriage. So in higher institutions, students practice risky sexual behaviors. So these risky sexual behaviors leads them to sexual transmitted diseases and unintended pregnancies, which end in abortion. Basically, this refers to couples or girlfriend or boyfriend that is not yet married. So they do that thing or sex even though they're not married yet, or should I say, they did it without even thinking about the consequences of the possible result. So, and it becomes an issue because it leads to risky sexual behaviors, just like unprotected sex, multiple partners, or inconsistent contraception use. So, without any preparation or protection, it will definitely lead them to problems such as its consequences. So, premarital sex can lead to number of health risks, including first is unwanted pregnancy or unintended pregnancy. So, unplanned conception. So, especially if both couples aren't ready to take responsibility, of course, it will lead to a bigger problem. And, ang luoy jud ana is ang baby. Next is abortion. So, termination of pregnancy often due to lack of preparedness or resources. We can't deny that this happened mostly to the teenagers. So, maybe because they're just curious or something that they give it all to their partner. And as a teenager, it is a really big responsibility to take over with. And it will be an issue with the fact that they're not ready and well prepared about this matter. Third is sexually transmitted diseases or STDs. Infections like HIV, HPV, chlamydia, and gonorrhea or any diseases. So this is a very dangerous because some of these diseases has no treatment, or maybe it has, but there's the possibility that it can be a lifelong management in your life. So the fourth one is pregnancy-induced high blood pressure. So pregnancy-induced high blood pressure or PIH is a life-threatening condition characterized by elevated blood pressure during pregnancy. So premarital sex increases the risk of unintended pregnancies, particularly among adolescents and young adults. So PIH can lead to preterm labor, low birth weight, and maternal mortality. The physical and emotional stress of an unintended pregnancy exacerbates PIH risk. Next is iron deficiency anemia. So iron deficiency anemia is common during pregnancy due to increased iron demand. So unintended pregnancies often result in delayed prenatal care, making IDA diagnosis and treatment challenging. So premarital sex contributes to iron deficiency anemia risk by first is increasing unintended pregnancies, second, limiting access to timely prenatal care, third is exacerbating nutritional deficiencies. And another one is cephalopelvic disproportion. So this occurs when the baby's head is too large for the mother's pelvis. So premarital sex increases CPD risk by increasing unintended pregnancies among young women with smaller pelvises. Second is limiting access to prenatal care, delaying CPD diagnosis. Third is enhancing risk of obstructed labor and maternal mortality. So now let's proceed to arguments against and for premarital sex. So arguments against and for premarital sex often centers around religious beliefs. So potential for emotional harm, increased risk of sexually transmitted infections or STIs, and arguments against and for premarital sex includes the right to explore sexuality before commitment, building intimacy and compatibility within a relationship, and the notion that sexual expression is a natural human need that shouldn't be restricted by marriage alone. So first and foremost, religious beliefs. So many religions view premarital sex as a sin, believing that sexual intimacy should be reserved for marriage as a sacred commitment. And for me myself, I will definitely agree with this. So many religions prohibited premarital sex because it's against what God has told his people, or what he told about us. So sex before marriage is definitely a sin. So that's what the Bible says. So if the Bible says it's a sin, so it's really sin. So second is emotional harm. So engaging in casual sex with multiple partners can lead to emotional complications, including feelings of guilt, regret, and potential damage to self-esteem. So that's very understandable. So such as risk of attachment, heartbreak, and emotional trauma. So the third one is STI risk. So premarital sex, especially with multiple partners, can significantly increase the risk of contracting sexually transmitted infections. So premarital sex, particularly with multiple partners, substantially elevates the risk of contracting sexually transmitted infections or STIs. So consequently, engaging in premarital sex demands responsible practices, including condom usage and regular testing to mitigate STI transmission risk. So the fourth one is impact on marital commitment. Some argues that having premarital sex can diminish the value of commitment in marriage. So potentially leading to less satisfying relationships later on. So premarital sex can potentially undermine marital commitment, as some argue it diminishes the value of exclusivity and intimacy within marriage. So this may lead to decreased relationship satisfaction, trust issues, and a higher likelihood of infidelity. So ultimately, compromising marital commitment can have lasting consequences, so affecting the foundation of a healthy and fulfilling partnership. And the last one, unwanted pregnancy. So unprotected premarital sex can result in unwanted pregnancy, particularly for young individuals. Unprotected premarital sex significantly increases the risk of unwanted pregnancies, especially among young individuals. So these unintended consequences can disrupt educational pursuits, career goals, and emotional well-being. Effective contraception, education, and open communication are essential in preventing unwanted pregnancies and promoting responsible reproductive choices.